Reverb, one of the most essential tools for adding a sense of depth, dimension, and realism. Slapping reverb on a sound is one thing, but truly understanding the parameters and how they work, definitely gonna upgrade your mixing game and improve what you do with your valuable time. So in this video, we're gonna look at the 5 basic reverb parameters, how to use them, and I'll show you a few tricks to improve your mix to get the perfect reverb every time. All right, let's start off with what, to me at least, was the most trivial part about reverb, and talk about the pre-delay. But once I understood it, my mix got a whole lot better. Pre-delay is simply the timing it takes the reverb to kick in on or after the onset of the sound. It's all about timing.
All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
Now, the higher you set the pre-delay time, the longer it's gonna take for the actual reverb to kick in. So we get the pre-delay set here at 1 millisecond, so it starts right away at 1 millisecond, or right at the 1 or onset of the sound.
Ooh.
Now, setting the milliseconds to, say, 99 means it's gonna take 99 milliseconds for the reverb to kick in after the onset of the sound.
Ooh.
Now, what we're doing is shifting the sound of the reverb to either be together with the vocals or separate on its own. The goal of the pre-delay is to create dimension by going the wet effect together with the dry at the same time.
All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show. We should've known better, didn't listen to the stars or the weather. Put the past in the past now. We got a short time, don't you get pulled down. We watched it end in an instant, with the ground all painted in crimson. We watched the sunrise beauty. Nobody said life would be fair.
A trick to give the overall vocals a sense of depth and more immersion is you dial in different settings on different parts throughout the mix. For example, you might want to give the lead vocals a more intimate and up-close feeling with a shorter pre-delay, but then give the background vocals a higher pre-delay to create a greater sense of depth and draw the listener into the vibe.
We watched the sunrise beauty. Nobody said life would be fair. All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
And if you find yourself getting lost in space, there's a classic formula you can use to set the pre-delay to the tempo of your track. What you do is calculate 7,500 and divide it by your track's BPM. So for example, my session is at 157 BPM. 7,500 divided by 157 equals 47.7707006. We're gonna round it off at 48.
We watched it end in an instant, with the ground all painted in crimson.
And then what you do from there is either multiply by 2 for longer times.
We watched it end in an instant, with the ground all painted in crimson.
All right, or divide by 2 for shorter times.
We watched it end in an instant, with the ground all painted in crimson.
You can also click on the link in the description below. It's gonna link you to this pre-delay calculator by Howard Smith. And basically you go there, type in your BPM, and boom, gives you all the right timings. So you can just go back, set those in your favorite reverb plugin, and keep it moving. Decay is basically how long you want the reverb to last, also known as the tail. So setting a fast decay will give you a shorter time.
All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow.
And a slower amount will give you a longer decay.
And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
There's a few tricks to setting the decay on a vocal in the context of a mix. So to keep the sound right up in your face and present, you want to set a short decay time.
All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know.
Now I'm using a room reverb here for the lead, but perhaps on something like the background vocals, you might want to go with something like a plate reverb to get an even more lush and ambient effect.
All of the highs and the lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
Depending on what style you're working with, Just ask yourself, is the reverb complementing the song or is it getting in the way? The way I like to adjust the decay is I like to treat it as an energy or a silhouette that I tailor around the sounds in the mix to shape the landscape and give the listener a sense of immersion in space. When I think about diffusion, I tend to think about fan-outs in the infinity gauntlet snap. It refers to the scattering or the dispersion of the reverb into the music. With this parameter, you control how quickly the reflections spread out or dissipate. You set your diffusion at a higher percentage, and you get a more dispersed and complex reverb tail.
Ooh, I got more love. I got more love.
The reflections become less focused, mimicking the natural behavior of sound in a space with various surfaces, adding depth, spaciousness, and a sense of realism to the reverb. If you want a more focused and defined tail, you lower the percentage of diffusion.
I got more love. Ooh,
This parameter is useful when you want a tighter, more controlled reverb sound, but you just gotta be careful not to get it too metallic sounding or clangy. So in the context of a mix, your vocals, along with the instruments and all the other elements, are gonna work together much better with lower levels of diffusion. Too much, and you're just gonna wash everything out in the mix and lose the presence. Now, we perceive reverb as a combination of early and late reflections. So imagine if you're in a room, the early reflections are the first reflections that hit your ears, and the late reflections are the reflections that take the time to bounce back to hit your ears. So in the context of a mix, these reflections determine the perception of the position of the listener in the room. So you have this position parameter to control the position of just that, simulating the listening position within the space.
Though I didn't ask for this, I won't take it for granted. It could end in a minute, just another statistic. All of the highs and lows.
Dave Pensado called this the money knob. So let's check this out. Let's see where the money's at and hear this in the context of a mix.
Though I didn't ask for this, I won't take it for granted. It could end in a minute, just another statistic. All of the highs and lows, live our whole lives in the flow.
See, it allows you to precisely place your sound within the virtual space from front to back, creating a 3D sonic experience. So if you want the effect, but you need the vocals more upfront in the mix, you dial up the position control.
Didn't ask for this, take it for granted, and in a minute.
Or in the other case, you want to give the vocals more of a sense of depth and spaciousness, you dial back the position, and listen to how the vocals get tucked back.
Didn't ask for this, take it for granted, and in a minute.
With the SP2016's position control, you basically have the power to shape the placement of the sound on the soundstage. Now, this is a control you definitely want to automate. Like, let's say you're coming out of the verse and into the chorus. You want to try dialing back the position a touch during the verse, but then dial it up on the chorus to give it a big swelling feeling.
We watched the sunrise beauty. Nobody said life would be fair. All of the highs and lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show. I got more love to show.
EQing Reverb is great for controlling resonances and shaping the overall tone and color of the effect. So using the SP2016's built-in EQ, we're going to filter out a little bit in these areas and cut down on the resonances and give focus and clarity to the effect.
All of the highs and lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
So I ended up with the low frequency at about 250 hertz, and I reduced the high frequency at 8K. Let's hear it in context of the mix. Here's where we started.
All of the highs and lows, live our whole lives in the flow. And I just want want you to know.
And now after EQing,
All the highs and lows, live our lives in the flow. And I just want you to know that I got more love to show.
you want to do this to taste, but a super necessary tweak for adding a touch of clarity to the overall effect. Well, there you go, the basic parameters of reverb, how to use them. Hopefully you learn something and gain some insights so that you can use reverb with a little more intent instead of the guesswork. These methods can be applied to any reverb out there, but if you want to learn more about this reverb, this is the Eventide SP2016, one of the most iconic hardware reverbs used in the industry from back in the day. No reverb sounds like it. It's tough even to find the hardware version these days. Luckily, Eventide meticulously emulated the hardware version to the T, put it in this plugin, which you can get right now. Just head over to eventide.com/SP2016. Try out a demo. You'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. It includes 3 vintage and 3 modern reverb types. Now, to me, this reverb sounds incredible on whatever you throw it on, and it just makes using reverb easy and fun to use. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like and subscribe to the channel for more. Until next time, thank you for watching.
Though I didn't ask for this, I won't take it for granted. It could end in a minute, just another statistic. All of the highs and